What did the world's cities look like in the 19th century, a time of revolutions, empires, and unprecedented growth? In an era where industrialization changed the face of the planet, some urban centers exploded in size, becoming bustling hubs of industry, trade, and political power. But these population booms came at a cost. Overcrowding, poverty, and social unrest were the norm for many. Today, we'll take you on a journey back in time to uncover the 10 largest cities of the 19th century, revealing not only their staggering populations but also the fascinating socio-economic and political backdrops that made them global titans. Stick around to see how these cities shaped the modern urban world. With a population of around 1.7 million by 1900, Vienna was the capital of the vast Austro-Hungarian Empire, which stretched across much of Central and Eastern Europe. Known for its Baroque architecture and rich cultural life, Vienna became a political and cultural hub during the 19th century. Industrialization and its position at the crossroads of Europe made it a magnet for migrants from across the empire. However, this growth brought challenges. Vienna struggled with overcrowded tenements and an influx of impoverished workers. The city also saw tensions among its diverse ethnic groups, including Germans, Hungarians, Czechs, and Jews. Despite these issues, Vienna flourished as a center of arts, science, and philosophy, producing icons like Sigmund Freud and Johann Strauss. Its transformation into a major city was tied to its political significance as the heart of one of Europe's most powerful empires. In the 19th century, St. Petersburg's population surged, reaching 1.9 million by 1900. As the imperial capital of Russia, it was built as a symbol of modernization by Peter the Great in the early 18th century. By the 19th century, it had become a vital port and industrial center, attracting workers from rural areas. St. Petersburg's growth coincided with the rise of Russian industrialization and the construction of major railways. However, the city's wealth was starkly contrasted by its poverty. Workers lived in cramped, unsanitary housing, while aristocrats displayed opulent lifestyles. Politically, St. Petersburg was a powder keg, with growing dissatisfaction among the working class culminating in strikes and uprisings toward the end of the century. Despite these challenges, its cultural contributions, including works by Dostoevsky, cemented its global reputation. By the late 19th century, Kolkata's population had reached 2.3 million, making it one of the largest cities in Asia and the administrative capital of British India. Situated on the banks of the Hooghly River, Kolkata was a key center for trade, especially in jute, tea, and cotton. Its rapid urbanization was driven by British colonial policies, turning the city into a hub for commerce and governance. Yet, the city's growth exposed stark inequalities. While British officials lived in sprawling mansions, the local population often resided in crowded slums. Kolkata also became a center of intellectual and cultural revival, known as the Bengal Renaissance, which fostered reform movements and prominent figures like Rabindranath Tagore. Despite its colonial legacy, Kolkata played a pivotal role in shaping modern Indian politics and culture. Berlin, the capital of Prussia and later Germany, had a population of 2.7 million by 1900. Its growth was fueled by industrialization, with Berlin becoming a major center for manufacturing, science, and innovation. Factories producing textiles, machinery, and chemicals dotted the city, attracting workers from rural Prussia and beyond. Berlin's rise also reflected Germany's unification in 1871 under Otto von Bismarck, making it the political heart of the newly formed empire. However, this rapid growth also brought problems. Poor living conditions, overcrowded tenements, and political unrest among the working class became defining issues. The city was also a center of socialist movements, which challenged the authoritarian government. Despite these challenges, Berlin emerged as a global cultural and scientific hub by the end of the 19th century. By 1900, Tokyo's population stood at 2.8 million, marking its transformation from a feudal city into a modern metropolis. Known as Edo until 1868, it was the seat of the Tokugawa shogunate for over 2 centuries. Following the Meiji Restoration, Tokyo became the imperial capital and underwent rapid modernization, with new railways, industries, and Western-style infrastructure reshaping the city. This rapid growth was not without challenges. Tokyo faced repeated fires, overcrowding, and public health crises as its population expanded. The city also began to emerge as a cultural hub, blending traditional Japanese arts with Western influences. By the turn of the century, Tokyo symbolized Japan's rapid transition from a feudal society to a modern industrial power. With a population of 2.9 million by 1900, Paris was the cultural and political heart of France. The 19th century was a period of profound transformation for the city, thanks to Baron Haussmann's renovations, which created wide boulevards, modern sewage systems, and iconic landmarks like the Eiffel Tower. Paris was also a center of revolutionary activity, experiencing uprisings such as the 1848 Revolution and the Paris Commune of 1871. The Industrial Revolution brought factories and railways, attracting migrants from across France. However, these changes also widened the gap between the wealthy bourgeoisie and the working-class residents, many of whom lived in cramped conditions. By the end of the century, Paris had cemented its reputation as a global leader in art, fashion, and politics. Vienna's population of 3.2 million by 1900 reflected its status as the imperial capital of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, a multi-ethnic state spanning Central and Eastern Europe. The city was a melting pot of cultures, with German, Hungarian, Czech, and Jewish communities living side by side. Industrialization and migration drove Vienna's rapid growth, turning it into one of Europe's most important urban centers. However, Vienna's success brought challenges. The city struggled with housing shortages, sanitation issues, and rising social tensions. Politically, it was a center of nationalism, with various ethnic groups demanding greater autonomy within the empire. Despite these issues, Vienna remained a beacon of culture, producing world-renowned composers, artists, and thinkers. London was the largest city in the world for much of the 19th century, with a population reaching 6.5 million by 1900. As the capital of the British Empire, London was the center of global trade, finance, and governance. The city's growth was fueled by industrialization and the expansion of the railways, which allowed for suburban development. Yet, London also faced significant challenges. Overcrowded slums, pollution, and public health crises, such as the cholera outbreaks of the mid-19th century, highlighted the darker side of its growth. Social reforms, including the creation of parks and public health initiatives, began to address these issues. By the end of the century, London was not only a global economic powerhouse but also a symbol of Victorian culture and innovation. Beijing's population reached 6.7 million by 1900, making it one of the largest cities in the world. As the capital of the Qing dynasty, Beijing was the political and cultural heart of China. The city was known for its imperial palaces, including the Forbidden City, which symbolized the emperor's power. However, Beijing faced significant challenges in the 19th century, including foreign invasions, internal rebellions, and economic stagnation. The Opium Wars and the Boxer Rebellion highlighted the pressures facing the Qing dynasty. Despite these issues, Beijing remained a symbol of China's enduring cultural heritage, with its traditional architecture and bustling markets reflecting the city's resilience. By 1900, New York City was home to 7.3 million people, making it the largest city in the world. Its rapid growth was fueled by immigration, with millions of people arriving from Europe through Ellis Island. The city became a melting pot of cultures, with Irish, Italian, and Jewish communities contributing to its vibrant character. New York's growth was also tied to its role as a global economic hub. The construction of skyscrapers, the expansion of the subway system, and the development of Wall Street cemented its status as a modern metropolis. However, the city also faced challenges, including overcrowded tenements, labor strikes, and political corruption. Despite these issues, New York symbolized the opportunities and challenges of urban life in the 19th century. These cities weren't just population hubs, they were epicenters of change, where the forces of industrialization, migration, and globalization collided. They shaped the 19th century and laid the groundwork for the urban world we live in today. Which of these cities surprised you the most?